The crystalline halls of the Galactic Council buzzed with anticipation. Commander James Reed stood before the assembled representatives. His worn military jacket, a stark contrast to the shimmering robes and bioluminescent armor surrounding him. 3 months had passed since humanity had saved the Kavar civilization from the Void Swarm, and now payment was due. Ambassador Clara, the Kavarn High Matriarch, rose from her seat. Her 6 eyes gleamed with pride as she gestured toward a group of young females standing in formation behind her. Each one represented the pinnacle of Kavarn beauty and achievement. Commander Reed, Lara's voice resonated through the chamber's translation field. You have performed a service beyond measure. By our ancient customs, we offer you the greatest honor. Choose any of my daughters to be your bonded companion. They are warriors, scholars, diplomats. Each one would bring glory to your union. James surveyed the line. The Kavarn were striking beings, their angular features and iridescent skin shifting through colors that corresponded to their emotions. The first daughter stood tall, her scales rippling gold and crimson. She commanded 3 battle fleets. The second radiated soft violet, a renowned scientist who had unlocked faster-than-light communication. The third shimmered emerald, a master negotiator who had brokered peace across 50 star systems. Then James saw her. She stood at the end of the line, almost hidden behind her sisters. Her scales held no brilliant colors, just a muted gray-brown that seemed to absorb light rather than reflect it. Where her sisters stood with perfect military bearing, she hunched slightly, as if trying to make herself smaller. Her eyes darted nervously across the chamber floor. That one, James said, pointing. The chamber fell silent. Clara's scales flashed bright orange, a Kaivarn equivalent of shock. Commander, surely you jest. That is Nella, my youngest. She has no military honors, no scientific breakthroughs. She tends the memory gardens and speaks to the ancestral stones. Please reconsider. Any of her sisters would serve you far better. No disrespect to your other daughters, Ambassador, but I choose Nella. The plain daughter looked up for the first time, her eyes wide with disbelief. The other daughters shifted uncomfortably, their scales rippling with confusion and, in some cases, barely concealed relief. Clara approached James, lowering her voice. Human, you do not understand our ways. Nella is kind, yes, but she is ordinary. She will bring you no advantage, no prestige. Choose again. I will not be offended. James met the ambassador's gaze steadily. With respect, Ambassador, I believe I understand better than you think. My choice stands. The bonding ceremony was brief but binding. Nella stood beside James, trembling slightly as the traditional words were spoken. When it concluded, she followed him to his assigned quarters in the diplomatic wing. Saying nothing. Once inside, James gestured to a chair. Please sit. You look ready to bolt. Nella perched on the edge of the seat, her scales still that neutral gray. Why? The word came out barely above a whisper. Why did I choose you? She nodded. James pulled up a chair across from her. Because 3 months ago, when my ship crashed on Kavarn Prime, I was alone in the wilderness for 6 days before your military found me. But I wasn't truly alone, was I? Nella's scales flickered, just for a moment, into a pale blue. Someone left food near my shelter, James continued. Someone placed healing herbs where I would find them. Someone carved warning symbols in the trees when predators were near. I thought I was lucky. Then, during the victory celebration, I saw you in the crowd. You were covered in scratches from thornwood vines. The same vines that grow in that region. The same vines I had to push through. I was just walking, Nella said quietly, for 6 days, following the same path as a crashed alien pilot. She said nothing, but her scales deepened to a richer blue. Your sisters are accomplished, James said. They're impressive. But you're the one who saved my life when no one else knew I needed saving. You did it expecting nothing in return, not even acknowledgement. That tells me more about your character than 1,000 battle orders. Nella finally looked directly at him. I felt you, through the ancestral stones. They whispered that someone was lost, someone important. Everyone else was busy with the Void Swarm crisis. I thought if I could help just one person, maybe that would be enough. The memory gardens, James said, understanding dawning. You're an empath. You can sense distress through the planetary consciousness. It is a minor gift. Useless in war. Impractical in politics. Invaluable in peace, James countered. Tell me, what do you sense from me right now? Nella closed her eyes. Her scales shifted through several colors before settling on a warm amber. Conviction, sincerity, and something else. Loneliness, I think. You have been alone for a very long time, even surrounded by others. James felt his throat tighten. My crew died in the crash. I was the only survivor. Your military recovered the bodies, gave them honors. But before that, while I was waiting in the wilderness, I thought I would die alone too. Then I found the food, the herbs, the warnings. Someone cared whether I lived or died. Do you know how much that meant? I only did what anyone would do. But you were the only one who did it. They sat in silence for a moment. Finally, Nella spoke again. The bonding can be dissolved if you wish. I would not hold you to a choice made from gratitude. Is that what you want? I want you to be happy, to have a companion worthy of your deeds. James leaned forward. Nella, I've met warriors and scholars and diplomats across 12 worlds. They're all impressive in their own ways. But the rarest thing in this galaxy isn't strength or intelligence. It's genuine compassion, the kind that acts without witnesses, without reward. You have that. If you're willing, I'd like to learn more about you, about your gift, about the memory gardens and ancestral stones. No pressure, no expectations. Just two people getting to know each other. For the first time, Nella's scales brightened to a soft golden hue. I would like that. Over the following weeks, Nella showed James the memory gardens. They walked among the living stones that held the consciousness of Kavarn ancestors, and she translated their whispers. She taught him to sense the emotional currents that flowed through all living things. A skill humans had never developed in return. James shared stories of Earth. He described oceans and mountains, forests and deserts. He explained human customs, their chaotic blend of logic and emotion, their stubborn refusal to accept defeat. Your people are young in galactic terms, Nella observed one evening as they sat beside a singing fountain. But you burn so bright. It is like standing near a star. Is that good or bad? It is overwhelming, but also beautiful. Her scales shimmered with deep purple, a color James had learned meant affection. The other species see your weapons, your tactics, your victories. They fear and respect you, but they miss what makes you truly formidable. What's that? You see value where others see nothing. You choose the unremarkable because you look deeper. This is why you will outlast empires built on glory alone. James took her hand, marveling at how the scales felt like warm glass under his fingers. You're not unremarkable, Nella. You never were. Your mother just couldn't see your value because it doesn't fit into her framework of achievement. She sees it now, Nella said softly. She came to me yesterday, asked how I had captured your loyalty so completely. I told her I did nothing except be myself. What did she say? She said perhaps that was the secret all along. Months passed. James completed his diplomatic mission and prepared to return to Earth. The question of what would happen to their bond hung unspoken between them. Finally, The night before his departure, Nella approached him. "I have a choice to make." James's heart sank. "I understand. Your life is here. Your gardens, your family. You misunderstand." Her scales cycled through rainbow patterns, a sign of intense emotion. "The memory gardens grow wherever there is life. My gift works across space, across distance. And my family will always be my family, whether I am on Kavarn Prime or halfway across the galaxy." "What are you saying?" "I am saying that the most special thing about you, James Reed, is that you made me feel seen. For once in my life, someone looked at me and understood my value. You gave me that gift. Now I want to stand beside you, not out of obligation, but because I choose you, just as you chose me." James pulled her close, feeling her scales shift to warm gold against his skin. "You're sure? Earth is very different from KVARN. It's messy and loud and complicated." "Good," Nella said, a note of humor entering her voice. "I have been quiet and simple for long enough. It is time to be extraordinary, even if only you see it." "Everyone will see it," James promised. "I'll make sure of that." As their ship lifted off the next morning, Nella stood beside him at the viewport, watching Kavarn Prime shrink into the distance. Her mother had come to the launch pad, all 6 eyes glistening with tears she tried to hide. "Thank you," Clara had said to James, "for seeing what I could not, for valuing what I had overlooked." Now, as stars streaked past the viewport, Nella turned to James. "What will your people think when you return with a plain KVARN gardener as your bonded companion?" James smiled. "They'll think I'm the luckiest human alive. And they'll be right."